Lance Hornby and Terry Koshin of the Toronto Sun here. Day 2 of the Maple Leafs training camp, and getting into a bit more specifics, Coach Randy Carlyle and his staff were today. All eyes, of course, on Phil Kessel and what kind of year he may have, and a little bit of adjustment last year under the new coach. How do you think it will work this year for Phil?
Well, Randy was saying, or Carlyle was saying, Lance, that he liked the way that Kessel made the adjustments with 18 games that he coached here last year, and keeping in mind that was without his running mate Joffrey Lupul, who was injured, of course, and missed the last chunk of the season. But Kessel's going to have to be like everybody else. He's going to have to be all in from the first game on Saturday in Montreal and go from there.
But we have to start well. It's important for us to really get off a good start because there's not that many games, and obviously we want to make the playoffs this year and have a good start.
Now, Tyler Bozak is usually the number one center. A lot of debate about whether or not he fits. At this point with two decent wingers, does it really matter who the number one is?
Well, I think it does to an extent, because even if you do have the wingers, you always think, no matter how well Lupul and Kessel do with Bozak, could there be more there if they had a bona fide number one center that you'd see in most of the teams in the National Hockey League? And Bozak's a guy to keep an eye on too, for the other reason being that he's mentioned very prominently in the Roberto Luongo trade rumors. So I would imagine there's a lot on Bozak's shoulders going into the season as well.
It seems that there is a model that we'd like to have, but we have to have the personnel that we feel like fit into that model. And as a coach, you get the players that you have available to you, and you try to put them in situations that they can have success, and thus give us success as a team. Again, we're not going to stress the word team. It's going to have to be front and center, day in, day out. And we've started that process, and we started that when we left here last year after missing the playoffs.
Obviously, a very short training camp, no exhibition games. Terry, what do you think the cut-down process is going to involve when you can't see guys in preseason games?
Well, I would think, my guess would be, Lance, that if, as far as the cut-down process goes, Carlyle will have to go on a lot of what he knows about these guys. So, for an example, it might hurt a younger kid like a Morgan Riley. I know Joffrey Lupul was saying to me yesterday that one thing he remembers his rookie season in Anaheim is that he had 8 or 9 exhibition games. He played in almost all of them to ease him into this. And Carlyle made the point of saying today that for the Morgan Rileys and other youngsters, they're not going to have that, and we'll see whether it works against them, and whether they can show him enough in the next 4 or 5 days of practice.
No, we're going beat 60 now. It's and we knew that was going to be like that. So I mean, the last week before, or last week I should say, we really tried to up the intensity and bring our game up, and now here we are, and we're going hard every day, and we're not taking any drills off, any shots off at all. So it's good, and so far everyone's held together. I think there's been no injuries yet. And
we're awaiting word on whether or not Cody Franson signs with the team. That might be in the next couple of days.
Well, I think the deadline is Friday at noon. I would think it is. It's usually 24 hours before the season starts. The rosters would have to be in if it is Friday at noon or Friday at 4 or Friday at 3, whatever. That's when the pressure will come that we'll have to make that decision based upon the performance of some of the individuals here.
For the MasterCard Center, Lance Hornby, Terry Koshin for the Toronto Sun.